Zion had the rebound tonight. Wasn't a slam everybody's talking about. People are also talking about the Lakers and how many points they're giving up, allowing nearly 136 points per game over the last three. Trae Young of Atlanta. Vince Carter. He's still in the NBA.
Yes.
Hawks 10 threes in the first quarter, tied for the most threes by any team in any quarter this season. And I don't know if you saw Gucci Mane. There you go.
Yeah.
Is that Gucci Mane or Gucci Mane?
I believe that's Gucci Mane.
I get him confused. Meanwhile, LeBron would get his teammates involved. Nice bounce pass to Brandon Ingram. The layup despite the foul. Taking a look. Slick pass from LeBron. Doing his thing. And then LeBron finds the cutting Reggie Bullock for the layup. Into the third. James. Long toss to Ingram. James, the drive, will kick it out to Kyle Kuzma. LeBron had 15 assists through three quarters, most by a Laker since Kobe had 17 in 2015. To the fourth we go. Hawks up by 5. Young gets LeBron matched up on him. And Young blows right by James. Tell the grandkids about that. LeBron would fight back in transition, drives and the layup. Despite getting fouled, LeBron is 78th career triple-double. Ties Wilt for 5th most all time. I feel like Wilt is having a tough week.
We gotta do something so the kids can see what Wilt looks like.
Right? Everybody's coming after Chamberlain this week. Kevin Hurd to the drive and the kick to Taurean Prince. Hits the three. And Young has LeBron matched up on him again. Gets by him. The layup and draws the contact. Great game for the rookie. That's what happens when you get a high draft pick like Atlanta did in the draft last year. Young, 22 points, 14 assists. The Lakers lose again going into the break, LeBron.
Well, you got to decompress and get away from the game for a little bit. Those guys have a lot more time than I will, obviously. I'll be right back into it in 2 days. But, just get fresh, get your minds right, get your bodies right, come back with the notion that we're going to make the playoffs.
How close are you to the point where you start worrying about the playoffs? Is that getting close?
Until you either make it or don't make it, that's when you worry about it.
And then there's this. Checking in on the Lakers at the All-Star break by the numbers. They're 28-29. That's 10th in the West. 2.5 back behind the 8th place Kings. A LeBron James team has never been outside playoff position at the break since his rookie season with the Cavs. The Lakers have played 18 of those 57 games without James, going 6-12 in his absence. If they had merely split those 18, they'd be 4th in the West right now. Huge difference right there. Poor defense, especially since James' return has been a contributing factor. Lakers allowing nearly 127 points per game over their last 6 outings, second to last in the NBA over that span. Tim Legler's cooking something up in the lab. Legs.
No better place than to put the Lakers into the lab tonight, because I think there's some psychological testing that this team is going through right now, and they're failing in a big way. So what's the fallout when you have 5 guys involved in trade talks and it doesn't happen? You have a team that's not committed to the cause, committed to the little things that win games, and committed to the Lakers, to be honest with you right now. And I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about. These are winning plays. Now here, Lakers still have an opportunity to win this game. As this shot goes up, stop it. Right here. Now, here's the ball. It's up on the rim. This is a 5-point game. You take a look down here. Lakers, great position, 3 guys on the inside. Now, what do good teams do in this situation when you're desperate to come up with a loose ball? Well, typically, the 2 guys out here in the perimeter should be leaking in case there's a long rebound. But you're going to take a look and see what actually Brandon Ingram does. He starts releasing up the floor. Kyle Kuzma sort of half-hearts this effort right here. And when this long rebound comes down, the only Hawk in the lane, John Collins, is the guy that beats everybody to it. It's winning time in this game, and this is what it leads to. If you don't do the little things, it seems like chaos finds you defensively. Hawks get a layup at a critical time in the game. Now, this one I put in because I thought it was interesting to take a look at LeBron's body language on this, and this is where this team is right now mentally. He's thinking maybe get a screen, probably want to get down to the post and operate out of there. And again, it is a 7-point game, more than enough time. Rondo comes off, pretty questionable shot selection here, but I'm more concerned about this. After the Hawks get the ball, take a look at the body language of LeBron James. You have a time here to win the basketball game, but you've got the Hawks with 4 guys running up the floor, starting their break, and LeBron literally just starts walking up the floor. This is not a team that's connected to each other right now. Stop it here one more time. 5-point game, minute 30. Plenty of time to win the basketball game. This is a simple ball screen, and I don't know what the Lakers are doing here, but you got two defenders that don't communicate. If this is a switch, then LeBron should be out here defensively. Look how flat he is. Trae Young's eyes light up. He just goes right down Broadway here, all the way to the rim. And, oh, by the way, the two weak side defenders don't even make an effort to come protect LeBron, who's flat-footed. Trae Young beats him off the dribble, gets an and one at a critical time in the game. I was down at Wells Fargo on Sunday. I saw the really abhorrent effort that the Lakers put forward in that game against the Sixers, giving up 143. This team is checked out a little bit mentally right now. I think it's going to be a real difficult task to make the playoffs.
The Lakers to find out if we can get together this summer. I said, hey, you got to clear it with the league. But if everybody doesn't sign off, then we can't get together.
Rob Pelinka called me and said, hey, we're hearing Ben wants to talk to Hall of Famers, championship-level players, and Magic's on the list. We need authorization for him to meet up. And I said no.
Here's the fallout from those conversations. The NBA announced that there was no tampering involved between the Lakers and Sixers guard Ben Simmons. In fact, after that interview from Brand where we heard him, the Sixers GM called Magic yesterday afternoon to apologize for insinuating that the Lakers called unprompted, according to Ramona Shelburne. Ramona is reporting that it was the Sixers who initially reached out to the Lakers, and here's how it went down. In her tweet, she says, to further fill in, Ben Simmons' brother brought the idea of talking to Magic up with a lower-level Sixers employee who then emailed the Lakers per sources. It's unclear if that lower-level employee told Elton Brand he was reaching out to L.A. Get it? Got it? Good. All right. We take a look at the crowded top five in the East where the Bucks and Raptors are jockeying for the top seed. If the season ended today, how about this matchup in the first round? Sixers-Celtics, a possible preview tonight in Philly. Greeny gets us ready for one of the best old-school rivalries in the NBA.
The Celtics have beaten the Sixers in 9 of 11 matchups over the last 2 years. But as they meet tonight, they are teams headed in opposite directions. Philly kicked the process into high gear at the deadline, adding Tobias Harris to an already stacked starting lineup.
Their starting lineup is now the best in the East. This is Philadelphia saying, we want to win, and we want to win right now.
The Sixers have averaged 130 points on 54% shooting in back-to-back wins since the move.
Side Harris to catch the shot. The three is good, and the Philadelphia fans love it. What a shot, Tobias Harris.
Meanwhile, Boston had won 10 of 11, but has now dropped 2 in a row, blowing double-digit leads in both games.
Ball's loose, grabbed by Rondo for the win. He got it. Rajon Rondo at the buzzer. Lakers 129, Celtics 128.
And after Saturday's tough loss, Marcus Morris spoke to the team's culture in no uncertain terms.
For me, it's not really about the loss, but the attitudes that we're playing with. Guys are, hanging their heads. It's not fun.
As the Sixers surge and the Celtics slide, the balance in the East shifts.
And there is the process. Joel Embiid ready to go for tonight's matchup, averaging 29 and 14 since New Year's Day. Always in that MVP conversation, carrying the Sixers so far this season. Great to have Tim Legler with us. Let's go back, though, as the Celtics are coming off back-to-back losses. That Marcus Morris comment where he says, it hasn't been fun for a long time. When you look at the Celtics' problems, how do you fix this?
Well, let's focus first on why it's not fun. I think part of the problem is you've got a lot of guys that were asked to take a step back from where they were a year ago. And I think that's been a problem. It's a tough adjustment. When you've got young players like Jaylen Brown, Terry Rozier, Jason Tatum, who finished the season so strong with so much responsibility with guys out, and now you ask them to do a little bit less for the greater good, it's very difficult for young players to buy in. And as a result, you haven't really seen those guys in rhythm at the same time. You compound that with what Gordon Hayward has been going through, clearly a shell of himself. He might be an entire another half a season before we see the real Gordon Hayward, so that's been a big problem. But those comments are very telling, Kevin. I've been on teams with bad chemistry in the locker room where you're not having fun, where you're not pulling for each other. You can't fake chemistry. I don't care what your record is. That is a bad sign, and that, to me, points directly to a lack of leadership in that locker room. Somebody has to get everybody pulling in the same direction, or they could have an early exit in the postseason and have a very underachieving season.
Let's go to the opposite side here. You were there. You watched them against the Lakers. That Sixers team had a lot of fun, over 140 points on Sunday. And Tobias Harris, how does he fit in this team after 2 games?
I don't know they could have targeted a guy in the entire league that's a better fit to go into this spot. He's so much more than what they had before at this position. Just in their first quarter the other night, what he did, spot up three, the way that this guy spaces the floor and make sure that you are going to have to pay attention to him. It's going to give extra driving lanes for Ben Simmons, less double teams in the post for Embiid. And then this component, they didn't have a four-man that could do this. Take it off the glass. He's 8 rebounds a night. And then just control his dribble and get his own shot off the glass. He had a floating runner in the first quarter. He had a 4-point play. He had an offensive rebound putback, and he had a dribble handoff dunk, all in the first quarter on Sunday. Completely different level player at that spot. Best thing about him, he gets it in rhythm and in the flow. He doesn't have to dominate the ball, doesn't pound the ball. He'll get his completely in rhythm. Gives them a dimension now, Kevin, that you look at that starting lineup on paper, and I think it's the second best in the NBA, and they were devastating for the Lakers on Sunday.
Behind the Warriors, right?
Exactly.
Is that where you're making
Yes.
that reference to? All right, so number one in the East. We'll see how this plays out with this new starting five tonight. Legs, thank you.
Thanks.
James Harden, he's setting record after record. Averaged a triple-double for the 3rd consecutive year. Awfully impressive. Step back by Harden, and he hits. That's 2 in a row now. Westbrook, determined, and converts. Harden, another step back. Well, he's trying to reach 30. Westbrook has his triple-double, and a 3 from George. Russell Westbrook has made history here tonight. James fires up a 3. There it is! 31 points for James Harden. His 30th game in a row.
So let's go second spectrum on Harden and Westbrook's streaks as they continue. Since James Harden's streak of 30-point games started on December 13th, he has 611 drives, most in the NBA. Guess who's second? Russell Westbrook. It says so, 535 of them. Both have had the ball in their hands a long time. Harden has 16,931 dribbles, most in the NBA, and Westbrook is again second with fewer. Then Harden has been doing it in isolation. He has 695 ISOs during this streak. That is the most called play in the NBA since the 13th of December. And Westbrook has been getting Paul George involved, particularly. There's another one of his ISOs, Harden's ISOs. 54 assist opportunities to Paul George, most of any two-man combo since January 22nd. Their streaks raise a fascinating question. What would have happened had Harden and Westbrook remained teammates? Here's Scoop Jackson.
Oh, how we love to dream. How we love to paint pictures in our minds of what could have been. Even when the current what is way better than anything we could have imagined.
Here goes the beer, and a left-hand throw down.
They started out together. You remember? Both straight out of Cali, 1 year apart.
Just going there and helping, those guys out, like Kevin Durant and Russell, it's going to be a great honor.
2 parts of a Big Three dynasty that never came to be. The Harden and Russ that kicked it in those same Thunder Blue unis back in 2012 were never supposed to evolve to this.
Flying to the cup, 2-hand rim rocker.
For them, this level was off limits.
James Harden is good.
To be the league's reigning back-to-back MVPs, let alone to become 2 of the best and most unique players the game has ever seen? Never. They were never supposed to turn up like this.
Elevates and throws down. Step back 3. Harden connects. Bravo screen. Another triple-double. Harden pulls back. Good!
But they did. Both came from under that KD shadow. One said, why not? The other told you, I'm gonna be a star.
61! Triple-double.
Dreams conquered. Yes, there is a small part of us that wishes they were still together. But we all know that Russell Westbrook and James Harden would have never gotten to this sacred place had things remained the same. That's facts. Still, we can dream. Can't we?
Harden has already doubled Michael Jordan's longest streak of 30-point games. Michael went for 30 in 11 straight in 87. That was the longest stretch of his career. Embarrassing. And triple-doubles, MJ strung together 7 straight in 89, well shy of where Russ sits. Days from the All-Star weekend in Charlotte, surely his airness has some thoughts on what's more impressive.
Both. They're all both hard, and uniquely, it shows the talent, that we have within the league. it shows still the progression within the league. I'm very proud about what both guys have done because they're making their mark for the league, and I think it really helps the growth of the league, which is harder from a player standpoint. 6 championships by all means.
Hey, you kids, Harden and Westbrook, get off my lawn. Tomorrow night at 8 on ESPN, the Beard looks to make it 31 straight with at least 30 when the Rockets take on your Timberwolves. That's followed by the Warriors in Portland to take on the Blazers. Our coverage begins with NBA Countdown tomorrow night at 7 on ESPN and the ESPN app. Be there. Aloha.